What made you not want to have kids? Raised my siblings. I'm done. Ugh. Teaching them to read, acting as a lifeguard any time we were around water, trying to patch their wounds or reassure them school isn't so scary. My brother is dyslexic and my sister has a learning disability. I taught them both to write their names and would always help them with homework before working on my own. I don't recall my parents being anywhere nearby in 95% of my childhood memories. I love kids, but the stress of raising kids as a kid has deterred me from ever even considering that sort of responsibility again. My mother's mental illness left the lion's share of supervision and housekeeping to me at the expense of my own education. We also had not nearly enough resources for the number of children. The despair of those years turned me off ever being responsible for a child again. I love my siblings with all my heart, but they nearly broke me. Being parentified is high on the list of causes for people not wanting children of their own. Hope you're okay. Yeah, I've spent enough time trying to care for ungrateful people. Certainly not gonna actively choose that for myself again. I had a child born with Duchenne's muscular dystrophy. I felt incredibly guilty for bringing such a lovely child into this world with so much difficulty he faced. After he passed away, I never wanted to bring another child into this cruel world. My brothers got Duchenne's and autism simultaneously. The autism is a blessing in disguise, as I don't think he spends much time depressed about his muscle condition. It's still tough. Holy shit, sometimes I forget how blessed I am with my boring life. My parents. They weren't good examples to learn from. I tell people that I spent my childhood raising two kids I called mom and dad. And then I never got to be young because I spent my 20s working off the fact that I didn't have a childhood. Why would I want kids? Same, my dad was a tyrant. I raised my mom and siblings. I knew I wanted no children. As it happens, I still take care of mom and other family if they need something. It's crazy. My father had a terrible childhood because of abusive parents, and he still suffers because of that today. However, he didn't pass it on to me. He has been such a great father to me despite everything his parents put him through. Not saying that you should have kids, just want you to know that your parents do not define you and that you are not them. I know I am, but also my entire older family tells me I'm the complete opposite of my father when it comes to parenting. They thank me and reassure me I'm doing right by mine. What you said can definitely be accurate. To be honest, I'm too lazy to be a parent. Plus, I'm terrified of the idea of pregnancy and labor. We need more people like you who admit they are too lazy to have kids. As someone who was raised by someone who was too lazy to raise a kid, it's really not fun. It takes courage to admit that you'd be a shit parent, what with most of society trying to convince you that you can/must change yourself to raise kids. I would be a shit mother, and no child deserves the crap life I'd give the poor thing. That's not me being down on myself, it's reality. Also, I never wanted to push a human out of my vagina either, so there's that. The economy and financial instability. Same reason for me. Also, the possibility of my vagina tearing into my asshole and creating one giant vagus hole. Edit. According to responses, it can be stapled/stitched back together, but the anal sphincter doesn't feel the same. What a terrible day to be literate. Just never felt that maternal urge. And it's cruel/wrong to have them unless you actually want them. TBH, this is validating cause everyone know has baby fever and all that, and I just don't get it. My husband and I never got the baby fever. We always saw our future with a baby in it, but we never went full-blown. Got to have a baby mode. We looked up at 40 years old and decided that it wasn't going to happen for us. So we carried on. And apparently our lack of parental instincts made people uncomfortable. People always told me I'd change my mind, so I always waited to feel it. I never did, and I feel like it was such a disservice to me to be told that. I'm 40 now. I was always told this and that. It's different when it's your own. But I'm approaching mid-30s and still don't feel maternal. I actually teach kids and enjoy my job, but I'm happy to go home and be in solitude. I tell people it is different BC when they are your own and are being obnoxious. You can't just leave and go to a quieter place. You have to take that obnoxious fucker with you. If you are even slightly on the fence about having kids, don't do it. We have far too many people anyway. Having kids made me realize that I didn't want kids, but it's too late. I love them, but life is harder than it needed to be. I listened to other people tell me what I, as a woman, should want out of life. Seeing them in the wild. In high school, we had to do mandatory volunteer work our last quarter in senior year in order to graduate. I did mine at a head start in my city. I was helping in the preschool one day when a kid named Shane rubbed peanut butter on my black suede Pumas, spat in my face, and ran away. Thankfully, one of the teachers saw it happen, and saw my reaction, so she took him out of the room before I fucking murdered him. Ah yes, those times when the kid looks mighty puntable. My wife is bipolar, and I have recurring depressions. We figured adding kids to the mix wouldn't be fair to anyone. Edit, I'm keeping the hyphen, since I firmly believe my wife has the ability to be on both the North and the South Pole. Not at the same time, obviously. Even medicated and in therapy, I can get mean when I'm in a mood. My mom is the same way. Some people shouldn't be parents, and I think it's great that folks are realizing this instead of popping em out and winging it, like most of our parents did. In the real world, I have seen so many people get truly fucked up because of how they were raised during childhood. Which leads to suffering not just for them but for a lot of others around them. It's no joke, if you can't raise kids right, then it is the right thing to not have them. Giving birth. This. I wouldn't be opposed to being a mom, but I 100% don't want to give birth. I also don't want to hear about anyone's childbirth experience. I'm in no way going to be excited to hear about the pain, mess, chaos that you went through in delivery room just because I have a vagina. The thing is, all women are forgetting about their pain because of biological reasons so they can give birth again. But please, I do not want even slightly experience, and then remember how I was in the deepest pain for 1+ hour while my vagina was torn apart hole to hole. The thought of just being pregnant is terrifying. Also, you have to dedicate your entire life to them. Yes. Seeing what pregnancy does to your body is absolutely fucking terrifying. Childbirth scares me so much. The pain, the tearing, the shuffling of organs, the postpartum symptoms, just sounds like hell to me. Yes, OMG. I've learned so much over the last decade because of the internet, and it sounds horrifying. If I can't afford a house, what makes you think I can afford a child? The economy is a dumpster fire. Thank you for being honest. Kids are fucking expensive, and really it shouldn't come down to economics, but in this day and age it does. Edit. Wow, over 1,000 upvotes. Thanks all. I probably sounded aggressive a little, but however much some want children these days, you have to put the money into the equation, and trust me, however much personally you might want a child, the literal cost can cause a lot of pain, anxiety, and breakups, and nobody wants that, especially for the child. I am quite fond of sleep, flexibility, and money, and spontaneity, and lower stress, and no legal responsibility for another person's entire well-being for 18 years. Yeah, I'm not responsible enough to manage diabetes, let alone a whole-ass person. Of all people, it was Seth Rogen who finally put this together for me. I don't know anyone who gets as much happiness out of their kids as we get out of our non-kids, Rogen told Stern. Like we're FING psyched all the time. We're laying in bed on Saturday mornings smoking weed, watching movies naked. If we had kids, we could not be FING doing this. Stern pointed out that when you're a parent, the kids are the priority, to which Rogen responded, I don't want that. That does not sound fun to me. People will call you immature or man-child and tell you, you'll change your mind. Constantly. I had about one day in my 40s where I had some severe guilt about not having kids. Then it was over and I have never felt that again.